Good evening, everybody. Welcome to KUMB TV's Eyes Up Mother Brown. We are back once again. No Premier League tonight. We're in the Conference League. It's the round of 16, second leg. West Ham leading Larnaca 2-0 from the first leg, and a few changes in the team tonight. We'll be running through those with you very, very shortly. Before we do that, now, I'm going to have to make a few adjustments here because I can't see you all the way over there. So I'm going to have to move that over to here. How are you all? Anyway, I hope you're all very well. Had a good week so far? Good. Good to hear. Let's have a quick look at some of your predictions while I'm just getting set up here. Tim Melican, our friend from the other side of the pond, American Hammers, head honcho, going for a 5-1 West Ham win this evening. And Polaroid going for a 3-0 home win. Stu Good 3-0 to West Ham. David O'Rourke 4-0 to the Mighty Irons. And Rob Young also going with a 3-0 victory. Brooke Dev Bonds going for a 3-1 win. Scamacca, who of course is back in the starting 11 tonight to score at least one of those goals. There you go. That's what we've got so far. Lots of confidence, which is good to see. You'd like to see a bit of that. Amongst the fans there today, and every right to be confident. To be fair, given that West Ham are in a comfortable position after the first leg, leading 2-0. There we go. We're on telly. Leading 2-0 from that first leg a week ago, and looking to consolidate and push on to book a place in the last 8 of the Conference League. There you go, Dan. You can see me now. Wasn't really worth waiting for, was it? But there you go. Good evenings and welcomes to Juan, to Hobo, to Dan, Polaroid, Brooke, Dave, Dan, AGXM, Steve Palmer, Polaroid, Tim, as we've already mentioned, and everyone else joining us live on the stream right now. I'm going to be joined in a minute by one or two more of the crew once I get the opportunity to post the links across. Just while we're waiting for the West Ham game to start, just because my stream is hello David. Good to see you. I've got a problem with stream. I don't have one at the moment, so I'm currently watching Fenerbahce versus Sevilla, who of course West Ham knocked out of the Europa League last season. Oh, it looks like we've got something. Sevilla are 2-1 up in this tie. Led 2-0 in the first leg. Fenerbahce 1-0 up on the night tonight. Looking to get back into that. But anyway, West Ham's on. We can get into the game now. I've finally got the stream working. 36, 37, 38, 39 seconds gone. West Ham kicking on my screen from left to right, which looks the other way around on the screen because I'm kind of in reverse, but I was doing it the right way, I can promise you. Big changes in West Ham's team tonight. As you can see above me, where is it? Over there. Everything's backwards. It's difficult to do this. Areola in goal, Johnson and Cresswell at fullback. Flat back 4 today, Zuma and Ogbonna at centre-half. Ogbonna skippering the team tonight in the absence of Declan Rice, who is replaced by Lucas Paquetá, Manuel Lanzini and Thomas Souček keeping his place, controversially some might say, in the 11 tonight. Bowen and Fornells are flanking Gianluca Scamacca, the Italian, back in the starting 11 for the first time in quite a while. Be interesting to see how he performs. Obviously, lots and lots of rumours flying around in the last few days and weeks regarding his position at the club, should we say. Many rumours. You'll have read them all on the KUMB forum, I'm sure. If you haven't, get yourself on over there to the Scamacca thread. It's all posted there. And yeah. I was just reading Polaroid's comment. UTJ has come as Tony Pulis. Well, if I was Tony Pulis, I would actually be like this, Polaroid, because Tony Pulis used to do his press conferences standing up, which is the only manager I've ever seen do it. But there you go. Little useless factoid for you about Tony Pulis. West Ham breaking, Scamacca inside the box, looks to pull it back. Blocking from the Larnaca defender. It's out for a throw-in to West Ham. Now, I must copy this link across because I haven't put it into our mods chat yet, so there may be one or two mods desperately trying to get on, or thankful that they've been able to avoid an invite so far, but they're going to get one right now, if I can find it. Where are we? There we go. There we go. There's the link. Okay. Larnaca player on the floor. I didn't quite see what happened there because I was posting links on the other side. And let's have a look now. It was a throwing taken quickly. Ben Johnson kind of just run into the player and caught him with the side of his head with Johnson's, or caught the players on the side of the head with Johnson's flaming left hand. Nothing deliberate about it. No intent whatsoever. Johnson wasn't even looking at the ball, but it looks like a free kick's been given nonetheless to the visitors. 3 minutes gone. West Ham United nil, AEK Larnaca nil. The Hammers leading 2-0. Now, lots of action taking place tonight in the Conference League. Just seen West Ham break again. Lanzini with the ball, skipping past and evading the challenge, looking to play it in the gap to Fornals, but there's no way Fornals is going to get there, and that's rolled out for a goal kick. David Moyes applauds the effort anyway, and cheers his team on. Yes, there's lots of action going on elsewhere in the Conference League this evening. We'll be keeping you up to date with everything that's going on across the continent throughout the evening. I can tell you already that there's been one result today. That was earlier on the game played between Sivasspor and Fiorentina. Bit of a shock in the first leg. Sivasspor holding the Serie A side to a 1-1 draw in Italy, but Fiorentina coming back and absolutely thumping Sivasspor by 4-1 in that second leg to win it 5-2 on aggregate, I think that was. But Hakan Arslan was sent off for the home side after 81 minutes. It was the game had gone by then. Fiorentina were 3-1 up on the night, but Erdogan Yesuya actually put Sivasspor ahead after 35 minutes before goals from Cabral. Milenkovic, of course, the player West Ham are looking at quite closely over the last 2 summers. Dimitrios Goutas own goal put Fiorentina 3-1 up, and then after the red card for Arslan, Gaetano Castrovilli scored a 4th for Fiorentina to make it 4-1 on aggregate. It was actually 5-1 on aggregate. It was a 1-0 result in the first leg to Fiorentina, not 1-1 by mistake. Interestingly, Sivasspor had a player sent off in both legs, and ultimately it cost them. Yesterday there was another tie played. Istanbul Başakşehir playing Ghent of Belgium. That one finished, I've got it wrong, you see, that one finished 1-1 in the first leg, but exactly the same score in the second leg. Turks may be going into that slight favourites, smashed 4-1 by the Belgians. Ghent, not Genk, I should stress, who we played last year in the Europa League. This is Ghent. Oh, we've just seen Scamacca have a dip from wide on the left, just outside the penalty box, quite an acute angle. It's whistled just wide of the far post. First shot of the evening for West Ham. Ghent hat-trick for Gift Orban. 3 goals in 3 minutes, actually, 31st, 32nd and 34th minute. And Hugo Kuipers scoring a 4th for Ghent in 6 minutes, scored the 37th minute. Yanizai getting a consolation goal in the 88th minute for Başakşehir. But yeah, 4 goals in 6 minutes for the Belgian club. Took that tie away from the Turkish side. Tonight we have 6 matches taking place. Oh, well, actually, we have 5 because there was another game finished earlier in the day. It was Lech Poznan 2-0 up from the first leg against Swedish side Djurgården. Won 3-0 in Sweden earlier today to go through quite handsomely, 5-0 on aggregate. So 5 ties taking place tonight. One did start earlier, but is into extra time. Really interesting tie, this one. Slovan Bratislava and Basel drew 2-2 in Switzerland in the first leg. It's 2-2 again in Bratislava. We're into extra time there. And the only reason we're into extra time, Bratislava led 2-0 after 17 minutes to go 4-2 up on aggregate before Riccardo Calafiori scored on 53 minutes for Basel. And then Zeki Amdouni, in the 3rd minute of added on time, levelled the tie, the tie and the entire tie for the Swiss side to make it 2-2 on the night and 4-4 on aggregate. And we're currently in extra time. We're just coming up to there's about 6 minutes to go before we go to penalties in that one. So could be the first one decided by penalties this year. 4 ties tonight. It's us, West Ham United versus Larnaca, which is on here right now. 0-0. AZ Alkmaar, of course, got that very, very surprising win in Italy. Beat Lazio 2-1 in the first leg in Rome. They're at home. Just need to get a draw to go through to the next leg. Villarreal and Anderlecht is 0-0 at the moment, as is Nice and Sheriff. Sheriff a goal behind, as were No, they weren't. And Lecter Villarreal was 1-0 in the first leg, wasn't it? So that's level pegging at the moment. So it's a lot to play for. We will not know the makeup of the quarterfinals, the last 8 for until the end of this one at least. The draw is tomorrow. I can tell you that the draw for the quarterfinals is tomorrow. We will be covering that live on KUMB TV, myself and whoever else is around at the time. So join us tomorrow. I think it's 2:00 tomorrow, not 12 o'clock. A bit later. This particular draw. So join us at around 2:00 for that one tomorrow if you're around. Joining me now live on the stream, I'm joined by Gnome, as you can see to my left on the screen. Gnome, how you doing, buddy?
Struggling a bit, mate. What you might call a very heavy head cold, and that and the fact I've got no way getting there and back without the trains made me make a late election to watch this from the comfort of the sofa. So their loss is your loss, I suppose, as well.
We're not missing. Well, we haven't missed much so far. There's barely anything's happened. We had that one effort from Scamacca. Kind of whistled past the far post. Well, what do you make of the team tonight? Are you quite happy with what you've seen?
Yeah, it makes sense to let Rice sit this one out because I don't think he's going to be needed. Not quite sure what his yellow card status is either. The only person on in the starting lineup on a yellow is Ogbonna. So Scamacca was pretty much a gimme, given that Antonio's not fit and he's keeping Ings powder dry for the league. So it's a relatively strong side. We haven't got another league game till next month anyway, so there's you can fairly risk a strongish side to get the job done. It's foot safe in the knowledge you've got at least a couple of weeks to get back on. Excuse me, sorry, this is going to be the theme of the night of me coughing, I'm afraid. Decent side. It's so I don't know if you want to do a quick time check. I've literally 11 minutes just went 11 minutes and 3 seconds, 4 seconds I got here. So
you're a little bit ahead of me because you'll be watching on the TV. I'm watching the stream.
Yeah.
We should just say that Nikolic just had an effort for the visitors. It's fairly central area, over the bathroom, about 20 yards out. But it's one shot each so far for the two sides. Just come out to 11 minutes gone. West Ham nil. AEK Larnaca nil. Those go on, no, sorry.
Yeah, they just got in the box now down the their left hand side, and basically Johnston didn't keep up the number 14, put a cross in, but Areola palmed it away. It's gone out the other way for a throw in, but I guess while it's 0-0, they'll be giving it a go. I think the heads might go down if we get a goal sooner rather than later. But I mean,
you get the feeling that it'll only take one, don't you, for West Ham to kind of put it together, especially with the fact that away goals don't count anymore.
Don't count anymore, no.
So there's no real incentive for them to go for it at that point, I guess. Good news. West Ham have had 47% possession in this game so far, which is about double what we've been getting in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. One shot each so far, as I said. No one's hit the target yet. No corners yet either. Other ties, lots of other games taking place. There was some UEFA, Europa League business going on earlier. I mentioned one at the top of the show, the match between Fenerbahce and Sevilla, which is pretty close. But in our competition, the Conference League, any surprises there so far? We've seen Ghent go through, Lech Poznan are through, and we're just waiting to find out who out of Bratislava and Basel will join them in the quarterfinals. There's a minute to go in that one. And looks like that one's going to penalties. What do you make of those results so far?
What we got so far is Fiorentina, who, we're in the box. Go for a corner. Lanzini sort of piled onto a loose ball, got a shot away, but it was kind of being blocked off. His keeper was playing silly beggars with the ball and passed it straight out to Paqueta. Little bit of interplay there, laid off to. Yeah, it's a goal kick. It was laid off towards Lanzini, and the ball was directed onto his foot, and he put it about 10 yards wide. So, Lech Poznan, beat Djurgårdens. Yeah, fair enough. I've got no real comment to make on that one. Fiorentina did the job, and that was fairly well. It was 1-1 after the first leg. Looking at that one, so Fiorentina went away and got their act together. And we're very. I heard you mentioning just before I came on the Slovan Bratislava. Oh, sorry, nearly cut off there because we were on a promising move. But Slovan Bratislava against Basel is still 4 each on aggregate, 2-2 on the night, and we're 2 minutes from the end there. Looking through the other scores, the others are all 0-0. So it's Alkmaar 2, Lazio 1 on aggregate so far. Nice 1, Sheriff Tiraspol 0 on aggregate. Those are about 10-12 minutes in. Quarter of an hour gone in, Villarreal against Anderlecht, which is 0-0, 1-1 on aggregate. And I think that's everyone up to date, 0-0 with us.
Yeah. I did read all those scores out about 5 minutes ago. You
Right.
clearly weren't listening to me, were you?
Well, I was sitting there in a waiting room sort of thing, and dosing myself with a combination of painkillers and cold remedies, and
so you said that's kind of
cold. I've actually got the same injury as Soufal, so it's not too bad at the moment. But I've been given a walking stick as well. So
gosh,
yeah, it's
no wonder you didn't want to go tonight.
Yeah, it was just, I think, had the trains been running, I might have made it, or had they been not running, but I didn't have the combination of cold and foot, then I would have made it. But both of those together, and on top of everything else, I've got to get up at crack of dawn on Saturday because I've got to go over to Ireland to pick my mum up. So I need to rest, really. So she's why I'm here, boring you, like, instead of people sitting near me at the match.
What's your usual route on nights like tonight when the trains are down?
Well, I could have got up there, but the last train home from London Bridge to where I am left. Basically, it would have left just after I got to London Bridge on the way up there. So I'd have probably got the Jubilee line down to North Greenwich and seen how the buses were, or depending on how knackered or tired I was, I might have shelled out for a cab to get me down to Chislehurst.
Bit of a pain in the backside then.
Yeah.
County for.
Well, foot, but yeah, the principle's the same.
Yes, Craven asking is in the live chat. Is Flynn Downs injured?
No, he's suspended. He picked up his second yellow last week in the first leg of this. He did pick up a knock there. It was a bit of a gash on his shin. But the yellow card he got, I think, just before that, meant that that was his 2. So I think we said at the time this wasn't the worst game to be missing out on. And it's an ill wind that blows nobody any good, I suppose. But yeah, no, he's suspended for this rather than being injured.
Good stuff. There are just over 16 minutes gone. It's 0-0 still. What are we? I was just trying to take a look around the crowd, actually, G, just to see what was going on there. There were reports, I mean, this was a bit of a shit show, wasn't it? This entire charade surrounding this game. The fact that tickets went on sale some considerable time before our opponents were known. And then, of course, there were, ticket price reductions, which upset a lot of people that had already bought tickets. And obviously people who wanted tickets felt that it was a complete rip-off to pay X amount for a game against minnows like Larnaca once the opponents was known. Any lessons learned, do you think, by West Ham? I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because it's typical West Ham. We were talking about it for the return leg. Nicola Key was over in Cyprus, managed to get an extra 1,000 tickets for our travelling fans. Fantastic. And then it's almost like, one step forward, 2 steps backwards, isn't it, with the ticket office? Now we've got all this charade tonight, and I'm guessing there's about, I haven't seen the upper sections of the stands, but I'm guessing around 35, 40,000 in there tonight when it could have been a lot more.
Paqueta in the box. Gets a shot. It's blocked by a defender who managed to clear it the second attempt, and they can come away. Sorry, just a proper chance there. Yeah, it's you just sometimes wonder that there are a number of issues there. Obviously, I mean, okay, I think what they would have done, and best way of doing this would have been to perhaps go through the teams that were in the last 16 and kind of grade them. So a little bit like the category A games and all that we get in the league, that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
Larnaca, with all due respect, would have been whatever your lowest category game would have been. And then going up to, like, obviously we've got Fiorentina or Lazio or Nice or Villarreal. Yeah, they're kind of higher class opposition, and you'd expect a club to be charging more for that. And then obviously they obviously want money in as soon as possible, because as our chairman knows, interest is quite nice to have with the money in your account, and so either make the charge for the top category game, and then see who it is, and then make refunds based on the difference between the top category and what we actually got. That would have been a way of doing it. Or you sort of have some sort of deposit scheme. Sorry, on the attack again now, and Lanzini's fed Scamacca, who's fiddling around the box, and Scamacca scores. It's not the tidiest of goals, and the goalkeeper will be, I think the accepted phrase is disappointed. He's kicked the ball up the pitch in anger. It's not good goalkeeping, but Scamacca's got a big grin on his face because, frankly, he wants a goal, and he'll take that all day long. The Cypriot defenders are kind of looking at each other. Just have a look at it again. Yeah, playing it out of defence. Guy tries to play it back to him. Terrible ball. Fornals feeds Lanzini outside. Scamacca kind of makes a meal of getting around the defender, but does so, and then just sort of toe pokes it towards the goal. Just toe, and it's just gone straight underneath the keeper's body. I think it will see it better from this angle from behind the goal. And Scamacca gets a shot in. It's gone. What was that, under his body or through his legs? But
I think it went under his. Yeah, it looked like it went under his body, didn't it?
Yeah, it's 1-0. I've got a funny feeling that my beloved may have had a quid on Scamacca to be opening the scoring. With her bet. So 1-0. That's 3-0 aggregate, and I'm a West Ham supporter. I hate tempting fate, but I think that's pretty much tie over. Even I'm going to accept that. Yeah, we might win this tie.
It would take. I think if we were to lose this from this point, that would usurp the Berkakaras and Astragugus and all those, wouldn't it? To lose it from this point, you never know, though. You never know.
Penalties. To be fair, we did beat Berkakara on penalties, finishing around midnight, as I recall.
Eventually, yeah.
And it was something like 30 degrees at midnight. It was so warm up there. So
yes, it was, wasn't it? I remember that now. Yeah. Well, obviously I wasn't there, but I remember you guys saying at the time it was so hot. Yeah. Goal number 8 in a claret and blue shirt for Gianluca Scamacca. That's his fifth of the 8 goals has come in the Europa Conference League. Only 3 Premier League goals so far this season, but good start. And it's nice to see someone taking a shot. Something where we're constantly moaning about people not having a go, but it was good work from West Ham. Fornals winning the ball, as Noam said, very slack work in midfield by the Larnaca player. Fed Lanzini, who put it into Scamacca, who finished. What's kind of like the opposite of aplomb? Because you couldn't exactly say finished that with aplomb, could you? There must be a word. Yes, finished without aplomb. If anyone does know what the opposite or upside of aplomb is, please let us know. But whatever it was, that's
with embarrassment almost, wasn't it?
Yes, very much so. Hello to Andy Welsh joining us live on the stream. Andy just missed the first goal. Good timing, mate. I hope you're well. Bless his little cotton, says AGXM. It's nice to see him smile. Isn't it just? Felipe Anderson has scored. Remember him? He used to play for West Ham.
Oh, here we go. 2-0. Where's the flag up? No, the flag's up, I think. Nice ball played into Scamacca, who found himself 1-on-1. much better finish this time, but he looked offside, and we'll have a look now. And yeah, it's a lot closer than I thought, but he was offside. About a player's width offside, but bit more intent there. So I've got a feeling that Scamacca might do well with the ball, because it's European football, which he seems a bit better at anyway. And and again, I really don't mean any disrespect to the Cypriots, but they're not the strongest of opponents by any stretch of the imagination. And so this is sort of set up for Scamacca, really. It's a game set up for him. So seeing that Zappa's put Arsenal 1 up in their game. So they're 3-2 up. We were talking before things started to happen about the ticket thing. So quite apart from whatever harebrained scheme I was making up on the spur of the moment there, but there had to be a better way of doing this sort of thing, and to then belatedly decide that some, but not all, the tickets sold, the tickets at lower end were only those ones were overpriced. Apparently, the rest of us paid the right amount.
Yes.
That seems a bit odd. And then the other thing that would get right on my goat if I'd had one of those tickets and was waiting for my my refund is it's refunded in this sort of mythical club cash.
Yes.
Which now, if you think you've charged me the wrong price, but we'll give you a credit voucher. No, you charged me the wrong price. Let me money back, please.
Yeah.
And the whole club cash thing is a bit of a bugbear, and I guess that I guess it complies with applicable laws. I guess when you sign up to buy a ticket, it probably says no refunds, or any refunds will be in the form of club cash. But it does stick in the throat a little bit, because obviously that club cash isn't going to get used until maybe a few weeks' time, whatever. So they're still sitting on the interest of that money, which but times are hard for people. And people are sort of so I'm not making any claims for myself or anything, but a lot of people there have to really sort of think about their budgeting and what games they're going to go and see, etc. So any sort of refund and all that is may well be useful for some people.
Mm-hmm.
And to just say, well, no, you signed up for this anyway, and you can have a voucher, and maybe buy keyring in the club shop with it. Well, just sticks in the throat a little bit for me. But
I'm totally with you on that. I think it wouldn't be difficult for the club to reimburse the fans. Whatever figure they've decreed is relevant for a refund. And it just pisses people off, and it's just unnecessary, and it's just another thing that the club get wrong. And I hate to bang on about these things, but it's easy things as well, isn't it? This is the problem. It's they kind of create issues for themselves with some of these policies, and it's as I said, it was brilliant, fantastic. I think Nicola Key, I mean, I'm sure she enjoyed a couple of weeks in Cyprus as well, but she did a good job for the fans, the travelling fans. It just seems, as I said, it's one step forward, 2 steps back all the time with the club when it comes.
While
to
we've been
like
talking about that, talking about unnecessary, more coming together than that out and out foul, but Paqueta's given away a free kick on the left hand side of the box. It's played towards the back post, but everybody had come in and it's just gone over everyone's head, and it's actually gone straight out for a throw in. So nothing came of that. Just all a bit of a waste of time. But it's just just looking at his offside, and they're just showing the lines where Scamacca was, and I've got no problem with that. It's the defender's leaning one way, he's leaning the other, and basically most of Scamacca's well in advance of where he ought to be. So fair decision. And
okay. All right.
28 minutes and 10 seconds gone at the moment, and it's still 1-0. Upon playing the ball back to Areola, who launched it long.
I was just mentioning the other tie before we went back to the ticket office there, Alkmaar and Lazio. Felipe Anderson had scored, put Lazio ahead and levelled the tie 2-2 on aggregate. No sooner had he done so, however, and Jesper Karlsson equalised for Alkmaar to make it 1-1 on the night and put the Dutch side 3-2 ahead again on aggregate. So it looks like that's going to be a bit of a scorcher, that one, going to watch. Elsewhere, the Slovan, Bratislava and Basel tie, we can confirm, has now gone to penalties.
It's actually finished. Basel have won that one 4-1 on penalties.
There you go. A quick penalty shootout, that one. So there you go. So that's already through to the next one. We've got Ghent from Belgium, Basel from the Swiss.
Now they're through, and Larnaca have equalised. Now I think I think the flag. I'd be amazed if the flag hasn't gone up. They're not showing it, but it was. The flag did go up. We were caught a little bit square there, but he had gone a bit early. But just a little bit of a wake up, maybe. That's quite close. But I think when you draw the lines again, it's going to be similar to the Scamacca one, and he's got through. He's got behind and he's put the ball up, finished quite comfortably. I think they're VARing this at the moment, but it looked offside. I mean, and even when they just froze it there, I think there was enough of him too far forward. But it is being VAR'd at the moment, so it's a case of watch this space. Go away, sort of get yourself a cup of tea, and see how long there was one ridiculous one I was watching last night, the Real Madrid Liverpool game, where there was one that was like ludicrously offside, but it still took them nearly 3 or 4 minutes to see what everybody had seen with their naked eye,
Yeah, get a few of those, don't we? It was, I thought they played quite well actually last night, Liverpool. But I suppose when you're 5-2
I
down,
just thought Real Madrid was just
it doesn't really matter.
them, really. I've met against boys. There was not one in a million chance that Liverpool would win that.
No,
they had
agreed.
So many chances. Offside is confirmed. As I say, it looked it, and I'd have been very surprised if it had been any other result from that one. But just a bit of wake up call. Nikolic looking tad cheesed off with life at the moment, having got a goal scrubbed off. So now we're on the attack. Ball nodded on, but a little bit too far, and the goalkeeper comes well off his line and gathers that. So
Nikolic, it was, wasn't it? It was Nikolic who had the shot earlier in the game. Their only other chance. So clearly the biggest threat from Larnaca tonight. Yeah, as Noam says, it's been given offside. It was it all came from Ben Johnson conceding possession cheaply on the halfway line. I noticed someone quipped on the match thread earlier, trying to guess how many times Ben Johnson was going to give the ball away tonight. And I almost posted and said, give him a bit of credit, Poor lad's having a tough time. Don't be hard.
He's not in the greatest of form, to be said. So
he's not in the greatest of form, but he's one of us. He's our boy.
Sure.
Yeah,
I think we could afford to be a bit more diplomatic and pleasant about it. That's what I'm saying. They're just showing the lines, and he's looking at the line. The lines, he's further offside than Scamacca was looking at those lines. So where they've drawn them. So, but it's still fairly close. Paqueta's just taken a nasty little, it was accidental once, but a sort of stamp on the ankle that gets you and me bemoaning the fact that modern football boots are made of paper or something like that. But he's all right, and it's all a little bit scrappy. I mean, I think even scrappier. That was an interesting pass back that was played back towards his own defence by one of the Cyprus players, which he mishit, and it just went up in the air and back, and we've won it back now. I mean, obviously there's no point in sort of busting a gut here or anything really. It's going to be quite comfortable. But I would like to see us, now that it is sort of fairly well sewn up, take the opportunity of, let's try and get some goals. Let's try and get some football under our belt. At the moment we're just kind of a little bit going through the motions.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that, doesn't it? But as we said, 3-0 up and aggregate. Could be worse. You've had a couple of comments about your appearance on the live chat. Adam in Valencia is asking who is the bloke in the bear outfit.
It's just a dark black shirt. It's not.
I don't know if you can
It's
see the
just
screen, but it looks
flaring,
like you're kind of bear-like.
there must be something I can do about that. But it's because if I put my face, it's just a bit of a bizarre thing. If I put my hand in front of my face,
Yeah,
I disappear like that, which is
Yeah.
like something. There's a thing in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the ravenous bug bladder beast of trial, which is so stupid it thinks if you can't see it, it can't see you, and then it doesn't eat you. Bowen's just made a little bit of room for himself in the box, but doesn't quite get on the shot. Don't think he got a deflection, but it just went wide. But a little bit more attacking intent. Bowen's probably offside if anything had come of that. But yeah, he's just made room well. But if that had gone to VAR afterwards, then that would have been offside. So still no. Yeah, come on, you're a technical guy. What can I do to stop all this?
You need a light. You need a bright light. Look at the
What?
difference between.
Right. A bright light flashing in front of me, you mean? So not flashing, but in front of me.
Right.
Because I bought this. Because I bought this thing, and which should do that, but it didn't work before. So let's see what I can do about it. I've got to find the right lead.
Yeah,
we go.
it's I'll show you in a second, but
yeah,
you should find. I mean, I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can take my monitor, my webcam off here for a second and show you. But can you see that up there in the corner of my screen?
Hang on a second. Let me plug this in.
Oh,
right. That's plugged in, so that should.
That's a bit better. Yeah.
How's that?
Yes. Oh, yes. There you go. Glorious Technicolor. Oh, that's much better. There you go. The bear is no more. What I was showing you, what I was going to show you was these. I have one of these. Can you see that?
Oh, it's your screen thing, yeah.
I have one of those there, and there's another one over there.
Yeah.
So you can either, ideally, you want three. You want one in front, one on either side, but webcams and stuff like that, laptops, you're fine with one. So anyway, that's technical nonsense.
Anyway, we're in the box.
About, but we can see no better.
And we've hit the bar, and what on earth?
Doing.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of things to dissect there. Yeah, that's going to be a foul free kick to the Cypriots. Yeah. Looking at it now, and we've won the ball in midfield. Ball's been played out. He's not offside. I thought he might be out there to Fornals. He cuts his side, then curls a shot. It comes down off the bar, and yeah, I mean, keeper was totally stranded, and I think it was Johnson decided to try some sort of scissor kick, which went nowhere near where I think he wanted it to go. But so that really, yeah, that could have been 2-0. Now I know we've got this light on me. Let's see if I can do some other stuff because it's kind of blinding me a little bit. If I can turn it down just a little bit.
That's why I have mine there rather than in your eyes.
Yeah. Well, this is one of those circular things that you plug your phone in the middle of.
You can normally tell by looking into your pupils to see if you've got one of those circular lights. You can see it. You've got the readers.
Right.
Anyway, there you go. Yes, some boring midstream techie stuff, Steve Palmer. Apologies for that.
There you go.
But,
that will do, won't it? I've got a happy medium there.
Yeah, it's fine. You haven't got the blending into the background now, which is good.
Meanwhile, everyone's turning off in their droves now. They don't actually see what I look like. I mean, let's face it.
Bring back the bear. Bring back the bear.
Yeah. So, as I say, if I had to look at that, I think I would. So
Pablo Fornals it was known, wasn't it, who hit the bar?
Yeah.
Decent effort. And I'd love to know how many times we've hit the woodwork this year. It seems to be I don't know if the statistic is higher than I generally believe it to be, but we seem to be hitting the post on average at least once or twice a match in the last or much of the season. In fact, going right back to the Forest game, right, where that ridiculously hot day where you sat on the train for about 3 hours, wasn't it? And
that was just a nightmare day all around. You know, it was we were delayed on the way up. They didn't know what they were doing. We lost the game and should have won it, and they were delayed on the way back. And it was
perfect away day.
Yeah, well, the people turned up for this train, and it was 10 coaches long, and that's plenty enough for the number of people that were actually going to travel on it. But because like the back half was separate from the front half, you can walk through between the two units. They decided that they couldn't open the back half because they only had a train manager for one train manager could only have the front half. So there's 5 empty coaches there, and everyone's sort of like sat on luggage racks and things like that in the front. And oh boy! And of course, no air conditioning didn't seem to be working on the damn thing on a day which, in the shade, it was high 30s, and of course, not in the shade. Certainly on board the train, it was fierce hot, and I don't mind the heat. I like it being hot, but that was hot even for me. I can remember going out that trip to Birkirkara, and Ian, our friend Ian, who was over here last weekend, just remembering that, and he was complaining about the heat in Malta, and I was just going, "Oh, bring it on!" But no, it was. It was too hot even for me, and that is saying something.
Yeah, it was a very, very hot day. I mean, even in the stadium, it was ridiculously hot. I mean, young H needed a bit of air at a couple of points. It was getting a bit hot, but anyway, we digress. There's been a goal in the Conference League in one of the other ties tonight. Nice, Gaëtan Laborde. I remember him, player that West Ham have been linked with. Narrows it down a bit, really, isn't it? One of the many thousands of players. But anyway, a player we were strongly linked with during the transfer window was scored in the 29th minute to put Nice 1 up on the night. They're now 2-0 up on the aggregate. So good side, Nice. Moffey, of course, they're Terra Moffey as well, another player we were linked with. Going to be a tough team to beat if we draw them in the next round or so.
Indeed, yeah. Having said that, Sheriff Tiraspol will be no great loss to the competition. No, nasty bunch, nasty little club, really, I'm afraid. It's kind of bandit country out there. I think they're Moldovan, and but that town, Tiraspol, is owned by one of these Russian oligarchs who's probably not allowed in this country at the moment. And that area, that town, he owns the town, he owns the area surrounding it, and it's almost like an ex-Russian or Russian enclave out in Moldova. It's not so much. It just takes corruption to another level. That place out there. So I don't think anyone should lose too much sleep if they got knocked out. Let's put it that way.
Well, there you go. It looks like they're going to be the way things are going in the second stage, some kind of remarkable comeback. The only game without a goal tonight so far is the tie between Villarreal and Anderlecht, of course, which finished 1-1 in the first leg, and it's 0-0 out in Spain right now. It looks like Villarreal was slightly on top, 62% possession, 10 shots to Anderlecht's 5, but still 0-0. So the Belgians are very, very much in it. Here at the London Olympic Stadium in Stratford, with just about 3 minutes to go of normal time at the end of the first half. West Ham lead by 1-0. The goal coming from Gianluca Scamacca after 20 minutes. And that's what separates the sides here tonight. 3-0 on aggregate to the Hammers, cruising at the moment towards the last day of the Conference League. The draw for which, in case you missed the top of the show, is live tomorrow at 2:00, and I think it is. We will be covering it live on KUMB TV here, right here. So do come and join us then for the draw. And of course, it's not just the draw for the quarterfinals tomorrow, it's the semi-final draw as well. So West Ham will know their path to Prague by 3:00 tomorrow afternoon. Whether we get there, of course, or not is a different thing entirely. But anyway,
we've just seen not sure if that's the first yellow card again, 100% sure. But yeah, the player who calls himself Gustavo Estrella dos Santos or something like that. Anyway, Fornals did a lovely little turn and he just got clipped. And yeah, he was basically Fornals did him and he just flipped out at him and brought Fornals down. Yellow card, no real complaints either way on that one. So free kick outside the box, about 35 yards, I'd say, at a slight angle. The referee's having a, what's he doing? Is he running over to look at the VAR box? Yeah, he's having a look at the VAR box, but potential red card. Now, I think that might be a bit harsh if it's a red card. I can't quite. They're not showing us directly what the challenge was. They're just showing us the referee looking at it. Yeah, we'll just see it in the background. So I'd like to see it again, but the angle they're showing that the referee would just get reflection off the screen. Well, he's running back on the pitch. He's made his decision. He's doing the TV thing. He's caution. That's going to be a red card.
For what?
It's going to be a straight red. Even Fornals is saying referee no. I think that's remarkably harsh.
I've got to say that I didn't even think it was a booking. Oh, he clipped him. He caught him.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a foul, but
yeah,
a yellow card, a red card.
Yeah, Fornals is. Yeah, I mean, Fornals is really sort of trying to bat on the guy's behalf, but referee ain't going to change his mind now. And Fornals is like trying to console the guy. In amongst all that, we've got 2 minutes of stoppage time. The guy's distraught, and the UEFA bloke is sort of saying go and get off and all that. And I that's ludicrous myself.
It looked like it maybe went over the top before Fornals' ankle, but it's a bizarre decision. You've got to feel for the guy based on that, haven't you? That's terrible.
Yeah, I still haven't actually seen the proper replay. I've just seen the referee's angle looking at the screen, and of course you've got all sorts of reflections on that, and you couldn't tell what the referee was actually looking at there. But I think I said in the preview, he likes a yellow but doesn't often turn them into reds. Well, that's a straight red, and I'm baffled about it. And you got to feel sorry for the guy.
He looks absolutely distraught, doesn't he? This is his big night, probably the biggest night of his career, and to be denied a part in at least half of it seems very, very harsh. Yeah. Is there anyone on the stream who felt that was firstly, who felt it was a yellow card, but is there anyone who felt it was a red card? Do you feel the VAR team are correct to order our referee to have a look at that and stand by? I mean,
just going to see it now again. Let's have a look. Well, having looked at it now, it was definite yellow. I don't think it was. It's still harsh. I don't think you're going to have any complaints about the yellow. And having seen that replay, I can see why somebody might have said, do you want to have another look at it? But I still don't think it's a red for me. But
no.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I'm still waiting to see what the VAR team. So I did see his studs go a little bit high over the top. But
it's caught him halfway up the leg, just above the ankle. And it's one of those ones that I know this is a cliche and everyone says it looks so much worse in slow motion, I think, because Fornals' turn was superb, and he stuck a leg out to go where the ball might have been had Fornals not turned him and caught him then. But really, I don't know.
I'm just seeing it now. I mean, I think what's cost him there, the fact that there's no attempt made to play the ball is there. He's clearly tried to
he
trick.
Stuck a leg out, and
I think that's what's gone against him.
But
tough. But there you go. Who cares? It's not us. So it doesn't matter. So it's 3-0 West Ham on aggregate up against 10 men. We were probably 1% concerned, though, weren't we? That it could go tits up, but I think that's pretty much zero now. I mean, 3-0 up at home against the Cypriot team with 10 men with 45 minutes to play. How could it possibly go wrong from here? Well, there you go. It's half time anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a stroll over there, and even more so now, and especially as we as I say, we got the goal. I'd like to just put a little bit more effort into this. Most of the players have got a 2-week break coming up, so I'm gonna have to put that up again. I'm gonna get a flare again, aren't I? I've still got this flaring thing even with the lights now. But
if you try angling it down a bit, is it flexible? Can you point it at the desk rather than at your face? Because you should still get the light hitting you, but it just won't be directly in your eyes. Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
But it's it is job done. I mean, we ain't gonna even we're not gonna do that. Balls this up, are we? Really, are we? Yeah, I mean.
I'd love to say, of course we're not, but you never know. There's that thing in the back of your mind that says, I've been watching this team for 40 years and I've seen some things over the years. I'm not quite sure I've ever seen us lose from a position as like this, but how long ago was it we were at Kidderminster and we would have laughed at the prospect of being 1-0 down in the 90th minute to a team 5 or 6 tiers below us in the football pyramid, but there we were. So anyway, it is half time. As we said, it's 1-0 to West Ham on the night, 3-0 on aggregate to the Hammers. Goal from Gianluca Scamacca after 20 minutes. He did have the ball in the back of the net again 4 minutes later, but was rightly adjudicated to be offside, judged to be offside, should I say. And the visitors also had the ball in the back of the net, but VAR ruled it out a few minutes later. VAR, of course, come into the game again right at the end of the first half, 43rd minute. Gus booked initially for a foul on Fornells. We thought it was a bit harsh, and then we were absolutely almost outraged on his behalf, I think it's fair to say, when the referee was advised by VAR to check his monitor and subsequently issue a red card. It was a late challenge. There wasn't much of an attempt to play the ball. It did rake down the back of Fornells' leg, could have been his Achilles. Not the greatest challenge to make, but player wasn't hurt. His team's 3 down. You'd like to think the referee could show a little bit of common sense in those circumstances, but it wasn't to be anyway. And Larnaca were reduced to 10 minutes with how they're going to have to play the rest of the game. Talking about the rest of the game, there's a few other ties going on. We've looked at the 3 teams. I did ask you this earlier on, G, actually, but we never got a chance to mention it. No other goals since what we mentioned earlier. Alkmaar and Lazio still 1-1, 3-2 to Alkmaar on the night. Villarreal and Anderlecht still 0-0, 1-1 on aggregate. Nice 1 up against Sheriff, so they're 2 up on aggregate. 3 ties already, G. You're probably looking at the last 8 thinking it's one of these 3 teams you'd like to draw. I mean, you probably want to avoid the likes of Villarreal, Nice, Alkmaar, or Lazio, but and Fiorentina. But the 3 of the 4 teams through, certainly, I think we'd fancy our chances against Ghent of Belgium, Poznan of Poland, and Basel of Switzerland. You'd like to think we could, if we were to get one of those, that would be favourable for us anyway, in terms of looking to get through the last 4.
Even Anderlecht, if you think about it, because when we've played them in recent memory, they've not really sort of held any demons for us, have they?
No, I was kind of assuming that Villarreal would go through it out of that, but you never know. Of course,
it's 1-1 an aggregate, 0-0 half time. So there's I mean, you'd probably want to give I mean, they're all fairly useful sides, but Poznan are probably would be the plum tie for the next round. I mean, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves and all that, but I think Poznan there. Was it Ghent? Did you say the other lot?
You've got Ghent, isn't it? And Basel, of course, who won the penalty shootout against Bratislava Fiorentina, of course, already through, but it's beginning to take shape. We know half of the 8 teams that are going to be playing in the quarterfinals anyway. Well, I think it's fair to say West Ham are going to be the 5th of those 8. Can't see that really going wrong. It's just really what happens between Alkmaar, Lazio, Villarreal, and Anderlecht and Nice and Sheriff now to wrap it up.
I mean,
but
at the end of the day, though, to coin a football cliche, we're going to have to play one of those teams that we'd probably rather avoid at some stage. We'd rather it be in the final and all that. But them's the breaks. You want to win these things, you've got to beat the best, as they say.
Indeed, absolutely right. But so that's where we are at the moment. Should we have a quick look at the first half match stats? How did we end up? Unusually, West Ham had the greater percentage of possession in the first half, 57-43 in West Ham's favour. 8 shots from the Hammers, 2 on target in that first half. Only 1 shot from the visitors. Well, they had 2, didn't they? But of course, the second didn't count for offside. The only shot they had that counted was the Nikolic effort after just 10 minutes, the only shot that registered. So they're still waiting for the first shot on target. No corners, not a single corner.
Unlike last week.
Yeah, unbelievable. We're still waiting for our first corner against Larnaca in 3 halves, which is probably quite a unique situation, I'd imagine.
Yeah, so they're just showing us now the goals that we scored so far, and it's still funny. It's really, really shocking goalkeeping. I mean, Lanzini did well winning the ball back, and as I say, Scamacca sort of endured a challenge rather than really sort of just managed to get it out under his feet and just took a swing at it, and more in hope. Yeah.
I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, more in hope than expectation. So you can tell by his reaction. I mean, players' reactions and all these things say it all. But there was a big grin on his face because it's one of those great football cliches that pundits always come out with, about we just need to goal to come off his backside or something like that, and he's got one of those. It's suddenly got one of those now. Now they're now going to talk about the red card on the summary. To look at it's not a pretty challenge, is it? It's yeah.
Are you changing your mind now? Are you saying yes, it was a red card?
I still think it's a tad harsh myself.
Right.
I can see why it's been given. But I mentioned player reactions. Even Fornals is sort of saying, "Look, ref, okay, caught me. It wasn't pretty, but it's purely happened because Fornals done him on the turn.
Yeah, fitter.
It's been done by the skill. But it wasn't a case of he's there and he's gone in deliberately to kick that leg. That leg wasn't where he expected it to be.
No,
and sorry, I'm still laughing at the goal. I mean, apparently the guy who was sent off, they're just sort of saying now that he was also sent off Monday in a league game.
Really?
So he's got previous then. So maybe my sympathy's going a little bit for him, but still, it's an orange then, shall we? As they say. Yeah.
And to be fair, though, I don't think Pablo Fornals helped his opponent's cause there a bit by rolling around on the floor once he fell down. He did kind of make the most of it, as they want to do these days.
Yeah. It wasn't feigning injury to get somebody sent off. That would have been painful for a second or two. And but it's not like we see players clutching their face and when they've been brushed on the shoulder. So it wasn't one of those. It was But makes our task. It should make our task easier. Of course, we have had occasion when we haven't taken advantage of 10 men. Was it Hull we played under Allardyce where we were comfortably up and 2-0 up or something like that? And
what was that?
Years ago, was it against
Hull or something? What was that? Yeah, of course it was. It was that,
Yeah.
wasn't it? It was the
Oh, is that? Yeah,
incident.
sorry. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I missed your subtle attempt at humour there. Sorry. And,
Not really subtle, was it?
or,
but no,
or
you're right.
indeed,
It was.
or indeed humour, but that's another. But
Yes, well, yeah,
yeah,
that's another moment. Sorry.
yeah,
He got slated that night, didn't he? And
yeah.
the big
I
Sam
don't think I've
he
ever
bent
seen us
himself in the
booed off
presser.
after a victory before.
No,
And
I don't think he had either.
I mean, again, that was back in the days when the club worked with us, and I had a press conference pass for that one. Can't remember what I said, but what he said rather, but I'm fairly sure it would have been backed up with his usual post-match visit to a laptop to start spouting statistics at us to prove we've actually just watched the most exciting game we've ever seen, even though we hadn't. That was typical Allardyce. I got used to that coming off and so well, that was a pretty dull game, Sam. And somebody would say, and he'd say, "Well, I don't know what game you were watching. We got so many shots in. And I've just looked at the statistics. No, it was dull, Sam. It really was."
Yeah, he was most put out that night. And but interestingly, I kind of felt there was a bit of a parallel with that incident with Moisey. When he kind of there was some suggestions that he fronted the away fans when they were booing him at Brighton last weekend, wasn't there? And it kind of, whether or not you know he's right to do that. I mean, that's another thing. But the point is, I think once you cross the supporters, not just West Ham, any club, once you cross the fans like that, very, very difficult to get them back on side. Nigel Rio-Coker did it when he cupped his ear after scoring against Man U. Sam, as you've rightly just pointed out, correctly did it, and it was the end of his tenure at the club. And I think it's a foolish move. I don't for a second suggest that he hasn't got a right to feel annoyed, because let's be honest, these are fans that have been absolutely caning him this season. You know, you see posts on the KUMB forum. I mean, he's got blood on his hands. Someone wrote, and people saying they hate him. I mean, which I find just bizarre to even have those feelings about a football manager, whether it's your own club or not. But you know, he's had to put up with this kind of rhetoric all season. And so I can kind of understand why you might turn around, especially after the last two seasons where we've been moderately successful, and kind of feel a bit slighted by it all. The point is, you can't show it, can you? You can't go out there and show you how you feel.
Yeah, I mean, as mentioned, it's been a couple of years now since I actually attended a press conference at a club. But the difference between David Moyes and Sam Allardyce, for example, is that never in all the press conferences I ever went to would I ever come away with the impression that Moyes has been trying to insult my intelligence. Whereas, it was a rare press conference with Allardyce where I didn't think that was happening, if you like. You know, if it had been a dull game and we hadn't played well, Moyes would always come out and say so, and he wouldn't try to, tell me I've been watching Brazil versus Italy in 1970, when in fact I've been watching a very dull 0-0 draw where we hadn't been able to break down an obdurate opposition. So, whatever you think about the results and whether or not he should be manager here or there, as a person, I'd always say that he's always struck me as being an honest person when I was during the period when I was doing press stuff there. So, excuse me. But, I mean, over the years, I saw a number of managers come and go, and obviously that thing. I mean, you had Allardyce, you had Avram Grant, who you did wonder if he happened to know what day of the week it was. He just, you got the impression, and maybe a bit unfair, but you got the impression that he'd been told the result just before walking into the press room. And it was just, there
was just nothing there with Grant, was there? There was no. I mean, every single manager, I think you look, even Big Sam and Moisey, you can see how you could be inspired by things they say. But Grant, it was just like an empty husk of a man,
Yeah.
and just like kind of almost. I think he wondered what he was doing there half the time. Let alone.
Do you
us,
remember
but,
that Kirbishley press conference we did with a well-known football writer, where we'd beaten Cardiff, I think 3-0 in a cup during the Great Escape season, and Tevez hadn't played and scored, and I think he got asked one question, Kirbishley, and got very cheesed off and stormed out. And
I don't know if I was there that night. Was I there?
Were you not there? I know. Obviously I was, because I think I rang you up straight away. It was.
I might not have been there that evening. No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it was Brian Glanville, the well respected, but not around these parts, football writer for the Times. Actually, we're underway again, and let come back to that. On the attack, it's broken down a little bit. We've still got the ball. So it's all sort of slowed down a bit. Yeah, well, we've I should say Cardiff. No, I can't remember who it was we beat. It wasn't Cardiff. Cardiff comes in. Oh, hang on. Oh, some nice intricate football, but ball was played in the box, but it just went behind. We've won it back again, but that could have been 2 up. And we've started very briskly in this one. We're looking at sort of Scamacca on the edge of the box. Gets the shot in. It's saved by the keeper. The rebound's in. Bowen puts away the rebound for 2-0. I know we're 1 minute and 26 seconds into the second half, but that was coming straight from the kickoff.
Because that didn't take long, did it?
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
And Scamacca at the heart of that, got the shot in, pulled out a decent save from the keeper. Good finish from Bowen. It wasn't. This is what I wanted to see a bit more of in the first half. The sort of pressure, the bit of tempo on it. Some nice passing there. Scamacca does very well in the box. Makes himself some room, curls the ball in. Keeper must have seen that late. Palms it away to his left, and Bowen's there to follow up. But again, that's gone through the keeper, but through his legs. But that's more credit of Bowen than not to the keeper, sort of thing. Excellent finish from Bowen, though, from a tightish angle. So 2-0. So that's 5-0 now. We sort of 4-0 aggregate rather. I'm getting ahead of myself there. So so as we're underway, it was a cup game anyway, and we'd won fairly easily. And there've been all sorts of discussion about Kirbishley's fate and various outlandish rumours about stuff happening behind the scenes, and so Kirbishley came out and sat this is at the Bowen, obviously, and sat in the press room there, and one of the journalists asked the question. I can't remember what the question was, but it was less about the game. It was more pointed at Kirbishley about his future, and Kirbishley had been very cheesed off with some of the stuff that had been in the papers that week, and he just reacted. He got up and he said, the problem we've got is that you lot don't write about the game, you just make stuff up. And why don't you write about this? Why don't you ask me about this game? And he says, to be honest, something along the lines of, I'm not hanging around to find out. And he just got up and walked out. So
I don't remember it. No, I'm sure I wasn't there, because I'm sure I would have remembered it.
Well, and that's 3-0. And that's Bowen with a header of all things. It's a cross from Cresswell, and Bowen with a sort of near post header across the goal. That really is. It's a glorious header, as I think I've just said in the books there. But 3-0, and that is now 5-0. I was getting a bit ahead of myself 5 minutes ago, but and we're only 5 minutes into the second half. Again, nice build up, some nice passing. Again, Bowen starts off the move in the middle and points where he wants the ball. It is a very, very, very good header. That lovely cross from Cresswell. Bowen does very well to get that angle, and that's superb. 3-0. So
I've got to say, we put the ball in the. I mean, it is a great goal. It's a really good finish. We've had the ball in the back of the net twice already. Have they been in our half yet since half time? I'm not sure they have. Poor Larnaca.
I'm not entirely sure. No, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. I mean, clearly the ball must have come into our half from the kickoffs, but not directly. Of course, you can kick backwards now, but well, it's in our half now, and now it's not.
No, it's in there for a second.
Yeah.
Well, so Bowen, all of a sudden, he's on a hat trick. From nowhere. It's an assist for Aaron Cresswell.
Yeah.
Which you'll be pleased with. I suppose Scamacca will get the assist for the second goal, but West Ham
I
cruising.
don't know if that
now.
counts as a position. Now Bowen's in the box, pulls the ball back. Oh, it's just gone behind one and in front of another. And again, we could run up a decent cricket score here if we're savvy about it. So
yeah, it looks like those proverbial floodgates may be about to open. That's some cross from Aaron Cresswell. I've got to say that third goal, the way he teased that up, he's whipped that in beautifully, and that's a really top class goal all round. It really is. But as Noam says, 5-0 to West Ham on aggregate. I think we can pretty much assume we're all right now. Hopefully,
we might get a draw on the night.
Could be a few more goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully there'll be a few more goals for us to cheer before now, and full time. But I can see the Moyes, all you Moyes outers on there on the. It's a pub team, Larnaca. I mean, referee was on their side. Don't you know? I mean, I'm joking.
It's a professional performance. You can only beat what's out there. That was an excellent goal. Yeah, it probably wasted on them really, but. It still doesn't take anything away from the quality. That's a goal that would have beaten better teams than Larnaca.
For sure.
For
sure.
Yeah. So
Rob Young posted to say this is Larnaca.
I
didn't see that, Rob, before I went on my mini rant there, but So, all jesting, all joking. Of course,
we're camped in their half now. I did joke about. The ball being in our half, and it went straight back. And it really is. The pitch is on a tilt at the moment. It is.
Well, as we said, it looks like West Ham. I mean, I think we can safely say the Hammers are going through to the last 8 now. Which I wanted to ask you this at half time, actually, to everyone watching on the stream, with the ability to comment below. Let us know who you fancy in the last 8. Which of those teams you've got 3 already through? Let us know you'd like to see West Ham play. No more action.
Yeah, in fact, just looking at it again, long ball, diagonal ball, played to Fornals, who didn't quite control it but kept it in. Ball got played back to Souček into Lanzini, who turned lovely. Just tried to play the ball across the box. I think, again, if anything had come of that, looking at the original pass out to Fornals, I think he might have been given off, but certainly Scamacca would have been just then, as we're looking now, as he was coming back, but he let the ball run. So, it's a matter of how many do we want to score, and I'd like to see us. I know it's job done, but we've got 2 weeks off, really, haven't we? So,
yes.
In fact, we're going to make some changes. This is the. We're going to give some legs to people. Danny Ings is coming on. Cornet's coming on, I think, and Paquetá is off, and Cornet. I don't know why they're focusing on Souček. He seems to be staying on, as far as I can see. Oh no, Souček. Bowen's gone off again. Well, give him a rest. So he won't get his 3, will he? It's Bowen off, and Mubama is on, with the coveted number 72 shirt. Cornet will be on and Scamacca's coming off as well. So Scamacca and Paquetá are both off. Scamacca might feel a little bit disappointed in that, but there's a 2-week break. He's not getting a full run out against the team he might definitely sort of be capable of scoring against. But so just to recap there, because there's a bit of confusion about who was coming off. Cornet, Mubama, and
Ings.
Ings are on, and it's Scamacca, Paquetá, and Bowen are off. So we got that sorted in the end.
Good stuff. Be good to see Obama get a goal. Of course, denied his first West Ham senior goal. In the Conference League earlier this season, wasn't he? It was given as an own goal, which is very, very harsh. Now, here's a question I want to take up with you. Mark has taken to the live chat to post the following. This game means nothing. We need to stay in the Premier League. That is the priority. We will play more or less every 3 or 4 days in April. Does this game mean nothing to you, no? This competition?
I wouldn't say it means a lot because it's a game that will, excuse me, sorry, see us go through to the next round, which is important. I want to win this competition. So in terms of what it means at this particular moment, it's pretty meaningless. We're 5-0 up. They ain't coming back from this. So you can give players like Mubama a bit of a run out and you know, good to see them play, and you can change things around. So, but yeah, we're going to be playing every 3 games, every 3 days or whatever it is in April because of Europe and that, and yeah, with that sort of happening. But I don't see what other side he really could have put out tonight on this one. So it's got to be played. I certainly don't want to see us throwing it. I certainly don't want to see the sort of thing the debacle we had at Forest under Allardyce, where the under-8s got put in virtually, and who knows how many careers that shell shock put paid to, just because Allardyce wanted to prove some form of point with the board.
Yeah. I'm inclined to agree with you. I mean, I think for a West Ham supporter to say that any tournament that we're in is meaningless is nonsensical, quite frankly. Apologies to Mark. But it's been 42 years since we won a trophy of note. And I think if anyone is writing off the Conference League as a joke competition or another Intertoto Cup, I think you just need to look at Seeds of Roma last season and how they celebrated their win and how much it meant to them and their supporters and Jose Mourinho. It would be, for West Ham to win a European trophy for the first time since 1965 would be an absolutely huge accomplishment. Doesn't matter who the manager is in charge, what the players are, but for the club to do it would be fantastic. And I think to say it's meaningless is a little bit odd for a club of our stature. If you were a Man City or a Chelsea who are chasing trophies year in, year out, then maybe you might have a point. But for West Ham, no, it's a trophy, and it would be an incredible thing. And to be able to take a place in the stadium in Prague in a couple of months' time would be a lifetime achievement and an unforgettable experience for every West Ham fan that goes there. And so
we've had a corner in the game, by the way,
on that one.
Yeah. We've had a corner in the game, by the way, which
at last,
unsurprisingly, it went to Larnaca.
Not the first one.
It was dealt with very comfortably, as were the 14 or whatever it was they got last week, to be honest. But so we did break away straight away from the corner, and Cornet burst forward, but he put far too much on the ball that he was trying to play in, and nothing came of it. So,
all right, good stuff. I mean, Areola yet to make
forget about dear old Brian Glanville. There's nothing happening. Do you remember that? Every time I talk about him, we score. So if I talk about him again, we maybe get another one.
We have to.
Yeah. Well, it was just he used to, you've seen him around the press room in the past, and he used to sort of sit there and kind of lord it over everybody with a sort of vastly superior air. And with Kirbishley having walked out, he sort of announced very loudly, but to nobody in general, he said, "Oh well, the Arsenal game at Cardiff was postponed. What am I going to fill? What am I going to fill a whole page with now? As if everybody cared." And and because I was the nearest person to him, and I was kind of cheesed off with him and his attitude, I actually said to him, "Well, just a random idea, Brian." I said, "You just watched a game. How about writing about that?" And he gave me this sort of old-fashioned look, as if, sort of, how dare you? Well, I'm not a journalist, so you can't lord it over me, mate. Yeah.
I'm not sure he could do anything other than that look, quite frankly. Whenever I saw him, he always seemed to have a young concubine with him. Young, looked like a university type, but
it was
unique chat.
Work experience kid or something like that to
yes
to deal with the technology for him. I think was the thing. Now Larnaca,
hopefully that's all.
Got a bit of a break on here. Well, it's sort of stalled a bit. Bonner's held him up, and I don't know if that came off. Yeah, it's another corner to Larnaca. They didn't make the most of that break. Slight suspicion of a foul. Maybe not. No, just sort of slipped perhaps. But there was a decent run down the middle, but the player who ran down the middle just ran offside. And eventually the guy just played it off of Bonner. It's gone for a corner. So it's going to be an outswinger. Well, it didn't beat the first man properly, but a bit of a slice from Johnson. It kind of gets past him. Sort of clear, but Lanzini's now pushed somebody over and protests is innocent, but he's not fooling anybody. And Larnaca have a free kick. Halfway in their half.
Okay, well, while we're waiting for something to happen there, big news from elsewhere in the Conference League. AZ Alkmaar, who were a goal behind to Felipe Anderson's 21st minute effort for Lazio, which levelled the tie on 1-1, have now gone 2-1 up on the night, and that puts them, I think it's 5-3, isn't it, up on aggregate? I think the first, it's 2-1. So that's 4-2 on aggregate now to Alkmaar, who looks like that could be a big shock. Lazio, one of the favourites to win the Conference League this year, could be on their, looks like they're on their way out. Also elsewhere in the Conference League, there has been a goal, let's see if I can find it, 2 goals, in fact, in France, in the south of France. In fact, Nice were already 2-0 up on aggregate, 1-0 up on the night. They doubled their advantage on the night to lead 3-0 on aggregate. It was that man, Terem Moffi. So 2 West Ham, ex-West Ham transfer targets, Laborde and Moffi have scored for Nice. But within 60 seconds, Abdul Tapsoba pulled one back for the visitors. So they're not completely out of it yet, Sheriff, but they're 3-1 down on aggregate. They're away from home. And I'd be very surprised if they got it back. So the way it's kind of shown, the only one we haven't really heard anything from, Savon, I'm a bit surprised by this, actually, is that Villarreal were held by Anderlecht in the first leg, 1-1 in Belgium, Brussels. Still being held to a goalless draw in the return leg. 64 minutes, still 0-0 there. Villarreal, of course, are probably the favourites to win the tournament. Struggling against Anderlecht, the side that we didn't have any problems against earlier.
Indeed. Must admit, that's a lovely ball into Souček. Souček's got it tangled up under his feet, plays it back to Cornell. Souček should have done better there. He should have somehow got a shot away, but still camped outside their box. Not a greatest touch, but it's taken a deflection. Do you know, I think we've just earned our first corner against this lot.
Hey!
Yeah. Cornet gets a shot in, which just looking at it now, and makes room for himself quite nicely. The block is quite close to him, so quite whether or not it was on target, I don't know. But so corner on our left, which Cresswell will take. Let's see if we can. Just 63 minutes gone. Just come at 64. Let's see what we can do. The referee's trying to short out the usual huffing and puffing on the edge of the box there, which I think that's whatever Bulgarian is for don't do that. Right, here we go. Referee's still talking to people, but I think we're ready to go. Cresswell's just lining it all up. And cross goes in, deep to the far post. And that is 4. And that's Mubama has got his first. Bless him at last.
Good lad.
Good lad. I think it was Souček got up at the far post, headed it goalwards, and please, especially after having that one chalked off.
Yes.
And for an own goal and and he's milking it. Of course, he's going over. He's got the biggest grin in the world on his face, which you would have. You're teenager scoring, and you're you would be you wouldn't not grin. So it's headed down, and it's Souček gets the goal band, and it's a lovely little flick as well. Just watching it now. Yeah, he's just flicked it with the back of his foot, and You're always chuffed, aren't you, when one of the youth team come on and score? I can remember the stupid grin I had all night when Freddie Sears scored against Blackburn that time, and it just gives the whole club a boost when something like that happens. So good.
Yeah, it's great stuff. I mean, Mbama's been scoring goals for fun this season for the 18s and the 21s. He's an absolute goal machine. And he hasn't done bad for the first team. That's a couple of appearances where he's sort of had the ball in the back of the net now. But just having a look at the goal again there, it's really good work from Tommy Souček, isn't it, at the back? Wins the header, but it's a deft flick. I mean, it's a nice little touch.
Lovely flick,
So it's definitely a poacher's finish that. Tony Cottee would have been proud of that one. But so pleased for him, so pleased for him to get that goal after he was denied that one, earlier in the competition. So West Ham lead 4-0, 6-0 on the night. No, it's safe now.
Hopefully you can still hear me. I've just got to just do something with my phone here, but so you may not be able to see me, but I'll be back in a second. Hang on.
No worries, no worries.
Yeah.
While Noam's doing that, we'll just take a look at what's happening elsewhere across Europe in the Conference League. Don't think there's been any more goals since we last checked. Ghent, Lech Poznan, Fiorentina and Basel are already through to the last 8. West Ham pretty much assured of qualification, being 6-0 up on aggregate. Alkmaar beating Lazio 4-2. Looks like they're going to go through. Big shock on the cards there. Nice look like they're going to go through against Sheriff, which means it's just the one that's really it's a complete unknown is Villarreal v Anderlecht, which with 21 minutes to play is still 0-0. Mubama just got booked, I think, as well. I think that was Mubama. I just saw out the corner of my eye getting booked.
I missed that.
Yeah, he came right across the play, across the number 21 Onglazu. And I think it's just the adrenaline rush got a bit got the lad a bit ahead of himself, but he's in the book anyway.
Right, so we've got now. This is good from Moyes. We've got a couple of youngsters coming on. Souček's coming off, having played a part in that goal, and again, he won't have. He'll have harder days against different opposition. But we got one for Rio. Potts is on, and I think Steve came on just a second ago. So we made 2 substitutions. Zuma was off, and lineups. So we got Zuma was off, and Potts was on, and I was just trying to see who the other youngster came on. That would have been Lang. About whom I know very little. So before you ask me, and of course Potts, who is part of the footballing dynasty that have come through the ranks. And
doesn't look like his dad at all, does he? Unbelievable. It's like rolling the clock back 20 years.
Yeah. Interesting over at Arsenal. Sporting have equalised, and so that's 3-3 on aggregate. So that's we could be the only team to go through. I know Man United went through, didn't they, earlier on? So scrub that. That was a completely stupid thing to say.
A couple of substitutions as well for the opposition. I don't think you did those. Did you know? I'm sorry. Lopez coming on for Nikolic and Oya.
I'll catch up with you in a second.
Okay, no worries, no worries. So yeah, we're 21 minutes to go at the London Olympic Stadium. It's West Ham 4, AEK Larnaca 0 on the night. Scamacca, Mubama, and a brace for Jared Bowen. The difference between the two sides tonight, it's a formality really from the moment that Gus was sent off for Larnaca on the stroke of half-time, reducing the opposition to 10 for the second half. But West Ham have gone about it with some professionalism anyway, scoring 4 goals, 3 since the red card. As I said, I know I'm sure that critics will be saying that Larnaca are a pub team, and this is a depleted pub team as well. But as Noam pointed out a while ago, and you can only beat the team that's out there in front of you, and that's what West Ham are doing quite comfortably at the moment. 6-0 up on aggregate. It's just a reminder again that tomorrow is the draw for the quarterfinals and the semi-finals of the UEFA Conference League. Join us live on KUMB TV from 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon for the draw as it happens live. We'll be here once again. Still no goals coming in from elsewhere. Still 0-0 between Villarreal and Anderlecht, which is a bit of a shock. Just take a bit of a closer look at that one. Villarreal would appear to be on top, 17 shots to Anderlecht's 8 so far. And they've had 63% of possession compared to Anderlecht's 37, but it stays 0-0. So looks very much like a backs to the wall effort for the Belgian side there, but they're hanging on. They're hanging on. They're still in with a shout. It's still 2-1 to Alkmaar, who lead 4-2 on aggregate against Lazio. Nice 2-1 up against Sheriff. That's 3-1 on aggregate. West Ham 4-0 tonight, 6-0 up on aggregate. Noam's back. I can see him now.
Yeah.
What do we got now? 19 to play.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, just looking at Potts, and it's. I don't know about you because I am older than you, but suddenly I feel well. The number on Potts' back is my age, from my age when I turned that in April. So, but so yeah, feeling very.
There's
old.
life in the old dog yet. Don't worry about that. Mark says that it makes me feel very old watching young Potts come on. With you on that one, Mark. With you all the way. Yes, remember watching his father for many years in the 90s, and of course his big brother was at West Ham 10 years ago now. Was it when Danny was there? Must be 90. When was it we did the awards thing? Was that 13 or 14 when he accepted the award on behalf of someone else? I can't think who it was, but it must be 8-9 years ago now. But anyway, so the Potts dynasty lives on.
Yeah, I mean, you say you feel old because you remember seeing his dad play for many years. I feel old because I can remember seeing his dad turn out for us on his debut at that age, that sort of age, So, I mean,
yes.
The first time I ever felt, and I was nowhere near as old as I am now, but the first time I ever got a pang of that was realising I wasn't getting any younger, let's put it that way, was when Lampard Jr. started to turn out for us. And I remember and thinking, I remember a 19-year-old Frank Lampard Senior sort of in his early days. I mean, I was a kid back then, obviously, but it is true what they say, and sort of when policemen start looking younger, etc., and you start watching. You start watching the sons of people that you saw make their debuts when they were teenagers. It is a thing.
I guess the time to worry, mate, is when it's the grandsons of the players that you first watched would be time to pack it in, maybe. But it's great to see, and especially at a family club like West Ham, it's good to see, isn't it? That lineage, that family dynasty still coming through. We've had the Lampards, obviously, the Pottses. In fact, the Browns. Who am I missing? Who else have we had? Father and son.
I mean, although they didn't all come through the same thing, we obviously signed John Moncur, but we had the
of course, George,
and the Lees, Rob Lee's lads.
Yes, Rob Lee and Ollie Lee, Ollie Lee and his brother as well. There was 2 of them, wasn't there?
One of them's just had to retire because of through illness or injury. I can't remember what it is now, but he'd been up in Scotland, hadn't he? Sorry, not much happening in games. You can probably tell. I'm just trying to think. Fathers and sons.
Let us know if you can think
Yeah.
of anyone we've missed. Let us know on the live chat. There are one or two more. I'm sure there are that we've forgotten.
Of course, going back
oh, yeah, Polaroid.
while,
Sorry,
go
no,
on.
go on.
No, we're not going back.
No, I was just going to say, Polaroid's just pointing out that tomorrow's draw is 1 p.m. GMT. It is 2 p.m., but that's Central European time, so it's 1 p.m. Thank you, Polaroid, for pointing that out, because otherwise everyone would have been joining us at 2 o'clock tomorrow thinking, where are they? They're supposed to be here at 2 o'clock. You would have missed it. Thank you to Polaroid for pointing that out. The Martins, of course, Balloon, Ballon d'Orson. Yes. Yes.
That
Alvin and
also,
David,
we're
of
going
course.
back before, and we're going back so far. This is probably before my dad was born, but there are tales of a father and son who actually did play together at one stage. There was Jim Barrett Senior and Jim Barrett Junior, or Big Jim and Little Jim, as they were known as. I've got now. Cornet's got some space down on the left. Plays the ball across. That's well cut out. It's excellent interception from can't see the player's name, but that prevented a certain goal. Goes straight back into the goalkeeper's hand. No question that was anywhere near a back pass or anything like that. It was just a very, very fine interception, because Mubama was in there for his second. So, but yeah. So yeah, the Barretts. The reason I know of them was being given back in, it's 1968. I've got an old the West Ham United football book #2, and there were tales of them written in there, sort of thing, and good books, those ones back in the old days. Proper sort of, it wasn't like a kid's annual. There were articles and interviews with players, rather than the sort of State Diana Ross interview and then join the dots type things. It was they're proper football writing in there. So
lovely move that, by the way. I'm just catching up on the move that Eddie with Cornet putting the cross over to Hope. Well, it's intended for Mubama, but cut out really well by a defender. But excellent stuff from West Ham. That
lovely ball in. Mubama can't quite get the angle to get a shot away, but he keeps it live. Cornet now puts the cross in, but it misses everybody. It's cleared, and then Ogbonna wings it back, and we go again. I think now we've had a bit of a rest for 5 minutes, and we'll just turn the screw. Cornet plays it in the box. Ings plays it back to the edge of the box, and Hanzini makes space for himself. And it's basically we're taking turns now to have a go, aren't we? Shot was well over, but you get the impression if we want it, there's more goals here.
Talking about more goals, massive news from elsewhere in the Conference League. A huge goal. It's come from Islam Slimani, another player who's been linked time and time again with a move to West Ham. His own future is very much up in the air at the moment, but I tell you what, he could be the toast of Belgium tonight, because he's just put Anderlecht up away to Villarreal. It's Villarreal 0, Anderlecht 1. What a shock that would be. We could potentially be losing Lazio and Villarreal from the competition tonight. That would really open things up for West Ham. But no reaction to that. A bit of a shock, that one.
That would be a shock. I mean, when I sort of just disappeared temporarily to take the phone call from, in fact, it was Jeff calling me, believe it or not.
Hello, Jeff.
When I took that call, you were sort of reeling off, I think, some stats about what made it sound like, if I heard them correctly, Villarreal had the lion's share of that game.
Very much so.
2 billion shots against one and something like that. So it sounds like Anderlecht are very much riding it up now. We'll get back to that, because Mbamba's got the ball on the edge of the box. He's again makes a little bit of room, but the shot gets blocked, and Larnaca will bring it away. But then we win it back, and Potts there plays a diagonal ball towards Cornet, just gets flicked away from just as he's about to head it, and again Larnaca can clear out by the touchline. So it was sounding like it was all Villarreal, and why were they not 5 or 6 up at this point? And so it would be a major surprise, having seen Anderlecht this season.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen of Anderlecht, but it wouldn't be a disappointment to me if Villarreal weren't in the draw tomorrow. Let's put it that way.
God, no, I mean that would be. I mean, Villarreal and Lazio. That's
Yeah.
As I say, it really opens it up for West Ham. But just looking, there has been another goal in the tie between Nice and Sheriff as well. I can tell you, Nice have scored a third. I think that's them through 4-1 up on aggregate now. So it looks like the 8 teams, unless there's sort of a late twist of or drama and in the games between Alkmaar and Lazio and Villarreal and Anderlecht, it looks like the 8 for the quarterfinals could be as follows: Ghent, Basel, Lech Poznan, Fiorentina, AZ Alkmaar, Anderlecht, West Ham, and Nice. I think out of that lot, the only teams that you're really going to worry about from a West Ham perspective are probably Nice and Fiorentina. Maybe Alkmaar as well. I mean, if Alkmaar can knock, Lazio out, they're going to pose a threat. But I mean, it's good for West Ham, this, isn't it? What's happening elsewhere?
Yeah, I'm certainly not going to complain. As I say, it might be great for football if Anderlecht go through. But lovely little dummy there by Mubama. Just can't quite take the ball in stride as the ball's played back to him. But we're playing some nice little stuff now. We're camped in just in the final third here, really, and it's just a matter of everyone wants to try and get on the score sheet. So I think we're taking a few shots where we might normally sort of stick our foot on the ball and try and stick somebody else out. But said that, Larnaca are now bring the ball away and trying to work an opportunity of their own. But I mean, Larnaca have just had a shot which has just bobbled through. Altman has had a shot from about 30 yards, which was never ever going to trouble Areola. And
okay, good stuff. We're in the final 8-9 minutes now. West Ham leading AEK Larnaca. It's a formality now. West Ham 4-0 up on the night, 6-0 up on aggregate. The visitors, in case you're coming in late and hadn't noticed, were reduced to 10 men on the cusp of half time. Gus issued it wasn't a straight red, actually. It was initially a yellow, but upon VAR advice, tonight's referee decided to upgrade it to a red card. We felt it was harsh, probably still feel it's a little bit harsh, but it's meant that West Ham have just been able to take a walk in the park, basically, in this second half, and it's a bit like a training match. It's been said on the live chat. But if I could just ask you, actually, very, very quickly before we carry on, Nick will normally do this. I do always forget, but just below us there's a little thumbs up button. If you could give it a click if you've enjoyed what you've seen tonight, it'd be much appreciated, everybody. I'm told it helps the channel. Let's see if we can get that up from there's one there, 17. If we can get it up to 30 odd, that would be grand by the end of the night. 18, there we go. That's good stuff. Keep clicking away if you could, chaps. No, I mean, looking at sort of man of the match performances tonight, is there anyone that sort of really stood out for you so far, or has it just been a pretty sort of comfortable performance for everyone?
Comfortable team performance.
I'd
be struggling. Nobody stuck out head and shoulders above. They've all done very well.
Have they?
Exactly. Lanzini's looked interesting now. Larnaca have had another shot, but again, 2 yards over. Let's go through the team. I mean, I'm struggling. You say man of the match, I'm going to struggle to name one, to be honest, because there's been nobody that's really stuck out. It's been a good team performance. We had little periods of rest, and what we did last in the last game, sort of pretty much the last 25 minutes, we just sat back and all that. But when we've done that for little periods, we've actually then turned around and then got on the ball again and had another little flurry, and then so we've done it in spells. So just looking at that's a nice ball out to the right hand side from Ings now, and Johnson's looking for a bit of help. Overlap, cross isn't accurate though, and Larnaca will bring it away. Oh, that's a great tackle from Young Potts to get us back on the attack again. Yeah, Lanzini's been pulling strings there, I'd say, and maybe for else, but they're not really sort of sort of catching the eye as such.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I think you're right. No one's really stood out today in terms of man of the match awards. I thought Lanzini had looked quite busy. Cornet's not done bad. He's buzzed around a lot. Scamacca, goal and assist. You can't knock that. But yeah, it's a funny night, isn't it? It's so one-sided and so not a contest that it's difficult to pick out anyone as being particularly outstanding. I mean, perhaps if Bowen had got another one, you might say, well, for a hat trick, it's his. But I don't know. It's a tough one. Let us know who you feel is your man of the match anyway tonight. You must have a nomination, you guys, on the stream. Let us know in the live chat below who you feel should be winning that award tonight. Now, there was a question a little bit earlier on for Gnome. Who was it who asked the question? I do apologise. Hobo, it was. Hobo asked if you mentioned the Moncurs when we were talking about the father and son. We did actually. We did, or Gnome did, should I say, Hobo. So thank you for the suggestion anyway. But yes, we did. Of course, there's a lot of other players. Bobby Moore, his son and son Dean, never really got into football.
I'd say that's a penalty,
but
it's not been given here, by the way. I thought we got. We'll have a look now. Yeah, it's just been tripped. Yeah, Johnson's gone past the player who's the number 21 there, who's just flicked out a leg a bit, and that nothing given, and it still remains 4-0. That looks like a penalty to me, but I think the referee maybe just is probably wanting to save them from further punishment. Like that time we beat Macclesfield, where the referee added. The referee actually blew up early in the second half rather than adding any more time on. And to my eternal annoyance on that, because as I think I may have said before, I've actually watched us win games 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10-0 in my lifetime, and I've never seen I haven't got a 9. And we were 8-0 up, and the referee blew up. And I'm really not impressed with that.
Couple of nominations coming in for the team. APD, Alan Pardew's dad says 4 hours has been busy tonight, worked hard. Yes, he has. This is unusual. A comment from someone whose name is longer than the actual post. The post reads, Bowen scored a great second goal and was my man of the match. That came from 10 men at the back, no one in attack. So a nomination from Bowen. Stu Good says Lanzini's best game of the season for me. Kind of emphasizes what Noam and I was saying. I think there's no real outstanding candidate. You can make a case for pretty much anyone who's been on the pitch tonight. They've all made valuable contributions individually. But it's just saw a quick shot of the subs bench there. It's nice to see everyone smiling. Skipper Declan Rice on the bench having a good crack with some of the lads on there, which is nice to see. Because there hasn't been a lot of smiles around the camp lately, so that's good to see. Hopefully, bodes well for the coming weeks. Steve Power says, "I know I normally choose 2 or 3 players for man of the match, and so you do, Steve. I can't really name so many tonight. The whole team has put in an okay performance, which I guess is about right. So we are anyway into the final couple of minutes now. Noam, I shall ask you kindly to take us through to the final whistle. If anything does happen elsewhere, anything important, I shall interject, but it's all yours now, buddy, for the last couple.
Yeah, sure. Well, we got 1 minute and 20 seconds of normal time, and we're knocking it about a bit. Ball played into the box now, where Cornet's actually been well shepherded by the defender. Still in possession though, out by the touchline, and looking for help, and plays the ball back to Potts. But again, you just think every now and then we just sort of put our foot on the accelerator and go for it. And you think, if there was some sort of margin that we had to win by, like to get out of the group stage, you think that we'd be quite capable of picking our own score in this one if necessary, and not in a West Germany versus Austria way either. One for the kids there.
1982, wasn't it?
1982, I remember watching it in a bar in Ibiza, and it was like stuff was being thrown at the telly, and not by me or by British football hooligans or anything like that. It was locals were panning it. It was so which is why, I mean, one good thing came out of it. All the final group games in a group in any tournament now always kick off at the same time to prevent that sort of thing happening ever again. So
yes, that was shocking, though,
now,
to be fair. That was a shocking
yeah.
incident.
Yeah, 3 minutes of stoppage. We're in the 90 are up. We're 8 or 9 seconds into this. 3 minutes of stoppage, and the Cyprus Cypriot goalkeeper is in possession of the ball, and I don't think those 3 minutes can pass quickly enough for him. And so I think this is just going to be now panning out and kicked around a bit. The ground's noticed to be emptier than it was a couple of hours ago. The game's won, and with few, if any, trains to go. There's people have got difficult journeys to make, and on this occasion, I wouldn't be too upset at people going early. It's just, I can't remember which game it was before Christmas, but it was one where it was Leicester, and the bloke who sits behind me, like, nice guy, he sits there with his young lad, and was moaning. I think we were only 1-0 down, and he was moaning at people going early, and then we went 2-0 down, and he said, "Do you know, the worst thing about today is that because I've been moaning about people leaving early, I can't even bugger off now." Yeah, so there's all sorts of shenanigans and fun being had in the subs bench there. People are smiling there. People are sort of throwing rolled up bandages against each other. It's the sort of light-hearted, Scamacca smiling there. There's lots of Mickey taking going on there. It's all really light-hearted, and it's dance like more interesting than anything happening on the pitch anyway.
Is 4-0 enough tonight, Noam? I mean, I say that as can the team sort of hold their heads high, or it's one of them games you can't really win, isn't it? I mean, I think if we scored 7 or 8, they're not going to get any plaudits for it.
Yeah, we're in the last minute. 4-0, 4-0's enough. I mean, 6-0 on aggregate without really breaking sweat. You can't complain about that. I mean, there will be those who do, I'm sure, but that's good enough for me. We've not really looked like anything else happening. Back pass looked a little short there, but the keeper's come out to it. We're in the last 30 seconds now, and it's as I say, this is just going to peter out very, very shortly now.
I can see a lot of people taking to the forum, the KUMB forum tomorrow, and saying how West Ham players were seen fighting amongst themselves in the stands. During last night's game. Just a very quick one. No, before, I mean, when the final whistle comes, do jump in. But 10 men at the back, no one in attack. Says, was Clive Thomas refereeing that game, referring to the Austria game that you were just talking about? I remember him doing something in World Cups. Now I think I know the answer to this one. Was it not?
So do I
Clive Thomas that gave
Brazil,
pulled the final whistle as Brazil scored from a corner against Sweden. Is it Sweden? Is that right?
Can't remember who it was against, but
78.
He blew the whistle.
That was 78, not 82.
Yeah, he blew the whistle.
Yeah.
Basically, as the ball came off the Brazilian player's head, which would have made a 2-1
incredible
win, 1-1 draw.
Unbelievable. He let them take the corner and then blew up before the ball arrived in the penalty box. They scored, didn't they? Brazil scored and he cancelled. Said no.
Yeah,
absolute
furore. You can always sort of say, that was technically that was probably the right thing, but that whistle was blown then for one reason and for one reason only, and that was because Clive Thomas wanted to make a name for himself on international television. Pure and simple.
Well, he certainly did that, because here we are 40 years later still talking about it. Full time now, it's finished.
Full
time.
Anyway,
we know that much.
I wasn't going to say this before, in case I jinxed it, but 4 goals was definitely enough, because I had a 5-run 4-0. So £45.
Happy days.
Coming my way. So.
Happy days. Makes up for last weekend and the
yeah. So everybody's smiling. The Moisey and the Cypriot manager are full of grins, chatting to each other, and I think this might be one of those legendary "let's have a glass of wine after the game" moments. Yeah. So second European quarter-final in a row. Yeah. How'd you like them apples, Liverpool? And yeah, and the Cypriot supporters are giving their team all the best and all that, and fair play to them. You know, it's there just was simply to say there was a gap in class. Golf doesn't even do the distance in class justice, really. And yeah, we effectively won that tie the second. Antonio's second hit the back of the net last week, really, I think. But yeah, Moyes still deep in conversation with the I say the Cypriot manager. He's we got a Spanish one there. They do like a Spanish manager and a Spanish team.
Yes. So I read on Percy earlier today.
Yeah. They get something right once in a while. But yeah, so I mean the post-match interviews, they've got Bowen there and they've got Mubama. So do you want to eavesdrop in on that?
Yeah, we'll do that in just a second because there's some big news coming in from elsewhere. We can confirm Villarreal are out. It's finished. Villarreal 0, Anderlecht 1. And after the first leg finished 1-1, the Belgians go through 2-1 on aggregate. So we now know the makeup of the final 8 places in this season's UEFA Conference League. The 8 teams making the quarterfinals are as follows: Ghent of Belgium, Anderlecht of Belgium, 2 Belgian sides in there, Basel of Switzerland, Lech Poznan of Poland, Fiorentina of Serie A, AZ Alkmaar of the Eredivisie are also through. They've knocked out Lazio, another massive shock. Probably the 2 biggest favourites for the bookies at the start of the tournament. Lazio and Villarreal have both been knocked out at the round of 16. Incredible stuff. Also through on Nice. They beat Sheriff 3-1 tonight, 4-1 on aggregate. So yeah, there's your 8. Who's going to make the last 4, Noam? Who do you reckon? Who do you fancy out of that lot? Well, obviously it depends on who draws who, but
yeah. I think the ideal draw looking at this would be is if we got. I think we've got the beating of Anderlecht all day long, and so if we were to draw them, and because they make the semi-final draw at the same time, we then go on to play the winners of Lech Poznan against Basel. Would be
wouldn't that be nice?
I think that's the ideal combination at the moment, and then we'll take our chances if we get to Prague. So yeah. If you can,
that would be great. Rob Waldron asking when is the draw? No, just to clarify, it's 2 p.m. CET Central European Time, which is 1 p.m. our time. Rob, we will be broadcasting the draw live on KUMB tomorrow at 1 p.m. So come and join us. The KUMB TV team will be with you tomorrow lunchtime. Or some of us anyway. Some of us will be doing proper work.
Yeah. I've got a very interesting conversation to have with a client about implementing a salary sacrifice scheme to provide electric vehicles to people. So yeah, exactly. That's one of the dull sides of my world. The interesting side of my world involves just how hypocritical some famous people can be over their tax affairs, and that's all I'm going to say.
That's all you're permitted to say.
I had a cracker of one this week. Let's put it that way, but.
All right. I look forward to hearing about that offline then in that case. 4-0 tonight, Lazio Villarreal out. Sorry, bud. Sorry.
I said definitely not. I'll just
okay.
It's a well-known person who you'd be very surprised to know what they wanted to what they were thinking of doing. And yeah. It's not I mean, I'll give you an example of public knowledge one. It's somebody who would proudly display their socialist credentials in the same way as Alex Ferguson always reminds you that he came from the government and he was a right on socialist, and completely forgetting about his involvement in one of the more egregious tax avoidance schemes. And I'd say this one probably even worse than that. Let's put it that way. But I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you.
All right. Yeah, probably best. Probably best.
Yeah.
Well, look, we're gonna wrap it up there, I think, tonight, because we've got no game coming up this weekend. We are on air again, or some of us will be on air again tomorrow. I'll be here at 1 p.m. tomorrow, so we can carry on then. But the good news is that West Ham are through to the last 8 of the UEFA Conference League. A very, very comfortable victory against a 10-man Larnaca tonight. Goals coming from Gianluca Scamacca in the first half. Jared Bowen brace shortly after the half-time interval meant West Ham were in an unassailable position and just enjoyed the rest of the game. We were also delighted to see Divin Mubama get his first goal for the club. First goal for the first team, should I say.
They just interviewed him, and with a lovely nod to footballing tradition, he declared himself to be over the moon. So
not overchuffed, just over the moon. Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. Really good night for West Ham. 6-0 winners on Agate, through to the last 8. No Lazio, no Villarreal, both knocked out tonight. But there's some big names in there still. Fiorentina, Nice, and of course AZ Alkmaar. Stiff competition. Hopefully we'll avoid those in the last 8, but we're going to find out tomorrow. 1 o'clock KUMB tomorrow afternoon, quarter-final draw, semi-final draw, live on KUMB, 1 p.m. tomorrow. Come and join us. If you're at work, make sure your lunch break is that hour, or you need to go for a tiddle or whatever, but make sure you join us at 1 p.m. for that. It's going to be interesting to see who we get. My huge thanks to my co-presenter tonight, Noam, for joining us from his deathbed as well. Look at him, not a well man.
Sweat is absolutely pouring off me here, mate. I'll tell you now, I'm not joking.
Well, you know, every cloud and all that, you might lose a few pounds, I suppose. It's it's all good. But anyway, no, seriously, thank you to Noam for joining me tonight. He's not been in the greatest of conditions, so thanks for coming on, mate. Do appreciate it. To everyone else, thank you all for joining us on the live stream. We'd love to have your comments, as you know, reading out your comments through the show. Get yourself on over to the KUMB.com forum match thread to see what everyone else is saying about tonight. And why not carry on the argument about David Moyes? In, out. What do you think? Go and let everyone know. Yes, tomorrow. We're back tomorrow. We'll see you at 1 o'clock. Until then, take care, everyone. Have a good night. And as always, come on, you Irons.
Cheers, all.